Okay, I'm starting because there's no point hanging on and waiting for anyone. We already passed the time. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to be just talking very briefly with a few slides about why this product is suited for coaches. It wasn't originally built for that. And Vivian Alfred here on the call is the creator of the product, and he's going to explain how it works and how deep it goes, and he's going to compare it to what's on the market. So, it's obviously been benchmarked against the best in the world, and therefore we feel it offers many compelling reasons for people to use, which makes it much easier for you to sell and to introduce it to other people, right? So let's start with that, and then at the end, I'm going to just very briefly touch upon. um yeah, JJ
Sure.
feels it's a
Thank
great
you.
product. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
And then I'm going to touch upon how one can make the kind of money we think you can make in this product, right? So, are you seeing the screen? No, you aren't. It stopped.
no,
Okay.
it's just stopped.
Now, yes, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, I feel that this product is critical in today's world. Uh, and this is not just because we've launched this now. Most of the current products, that have been around, the big names, Clifton Strengths Finders and Enneagram and MBTI and whatever is broadly in this category. I'm not saying it needs to be specifically in this category. They've been around for a decade or more. Some are as old as 30 years old, and they haven't really seen much innovation. The world has changed a lot since those times when these products were introduced. Today, economies are shaky, AI has come in, so hordes of people are looking at being redundant, and some of them mid career, so they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, they don't know how to make their living. Um, then there's purpose driven work, which is the new mantra in today's times. There's always been a soft skills gap in the workforce, which is, you know, time from the time I started working 40 years ago, and much before that. How do you, and there's always been a thing of how do you identify it, and if there's a gap identified, how do you measure the effectiveness of the training that follows? Then today, with the digital world, you're always on call. So burnout, mental health, all that is much, much, much more prevalent than before. We're moving to the gig economy. There's a leadership crisis at the top in companies all over the world. Uh, there's so many things to do with integrity and other value driven things. And lastly, because of all this and many more, and to look at the generation now in their 20s, like Alex, the career pathways are changing. People don't want to do what we did, or even people a generation away from me did, like maybe JJ. They want to do something completely different or create their own path. So, therefore, a product like this becomes important. Now, obviously, you'll get more clarity about what the product is as we go along. I'm just talking on a very holistic basis right now. But before we move into why it's good for coaches, because this was not in the original planning at this stage, I pulled it in because of our wonderful group. But I need to give you a definition because we're going to use this word a lot, and this word is uh, virtues. So, can you see the next slide? It's a purple colored slide. Hello?
Yes, we can see
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks. If anything goes wrong, just tell me, yeah, because I can't see anyone. So, while often used interchangeably, the word we're more familiar with is values. Yeah, everyone says these are my values and so on. But values are principles or standards of behavior considered necessary. But virtues are the actions or qualities that demonstrate those values. So virtues is more of a doing thing, while values is more of a principle thing or a intangible. So values are what we believe, and virtues are what we do. So the liminal wheel is built around 36 virtues that you'll see later, and those are grouped into 9 dimensions. And what they are and how they are will all be made clear in this hour. So I've got about 8 or 9 ways in which coaches and consultants can earn using the liminal wheel. Some are very obvious, and some are not obvious, and many are open to your imagination. You can create things to suit the way your strength is. For example, I've not put in here a use of the liminal wheel which we just jokingly came up with one day, which is on a dating site. You could use it on, say, Tinder, for example, to if both sites that did the assessment and they matched, then they know, or they didn't want to match, whichever way you want to look at it. Uh, you'd know how well you're going to do with a potential date or partner. That could work for a marriage also, or a live-in situation. So, anyway, that's just a wild example, which is not in these slides. But so the very first thing, which is what you'll all have the link to, is personal niche identification, which helps you identify your niche. It helps you align with your purpose, passion, potential. And why would you want to do that? Because if you're not aligned to that, then work doesn't seem, pleasurable. It becomes something you hate getting up on a Monday to do. And if you align with that, it's just something you bounce out of bed, and you it doesn't seem like work. You have much more fulfillment, much more joy, uh, put in better results. You're thinking all the time about work. That is when you're aligned with all of these three: purpose, passion, potential. So the next way, way number two of the way you can, as a coach or consultant, earn using the liminal wheel is to do client assessments and personalized coaching. Now, just in the way I sent those links out to you for you to do the assessments, you also obviously can use it for clients. Now, you can use it for people who are prospects and then have a fantastic coaching session with them, talking about the way it doesn't align with the way they show up or the way they want to work. Or you can do it with your existing clients, or you could sell it to coaches who need to do it for their clients. I mean, there's so many ways, yeah. So one of the primary ways is it's an assessment tool. It evaluates the person who's doing the test. It evaluates their virtues and helps them align with what is required in the job they have. And if they need to change that, if they're getting promoted, transferred, shifted, lost the job, it can help with tuning you up to the ideal job situation or a career change. Uh, because this test can be done every year, and you can create a mapping strategy, you build up a lot of data, plus the tens of thousands of people doing the test. It gives a lot of data driven decisions about career changes, business directions, leadership roles, the way leaders need to show up, or if you want to be a leader at some point, the way you need to show up. So it gives you so much rich information, and as a coach, enormous insight, actionable, measurable insight in dealing with your clients. This is like a given, soft skills, leadership development, obviously, because one of the obvious things is when you do your assessment in the areas where you don't meet the benchmark, it's a no brainer to do coaching on those areas. So, if you don't do soft skills, you can pair up with somebody who does it, or you could learn soft skills coaching. It's not that difficult, and provide people. Now, who who are the people who need this the most? People are making money uh, out of the way they show up. So, somebody in executive positions in corporates, or people who are solopreneurs with six-figure businesses, because if you can sharpen them by even 1%, can you imagine the spillover effect, the exponential effect it can have on their business? So, by identifying gaps in the virtues, giving them interventions to lessen that gap or mitigate that gap, can have a huge impact. And for teams in companies, for example, a sales rep team in a pharma company, you can have targeted training, you could increase efficiency uh, and leadership capabilities. So the next one is corporate and HR consulting. HR in corporates is one of our big clients, and that's one of the original reasons why this product was created. But I thought, why not open this up to the world? I mean, why can't everyone connected to us make money out of this? Everyone knows people at some level, first level, second level in companies all over the world. If you could offer it not just to HR but to a business head, let's say somebody you know is a business head or leads a particular strategic function. Obviously, these all need to be senior people, right? You just have to connect with them, give them an outline of what this is, and set up a meeting with us, and we do the rest. And you benefit hugely because when a corporate buys this product, and now let me tell you one thing very clearly: the sales cycles take time. Yeah? They're 3 to 6 months, so you're not going to see any returns on day one. You'll see it more like day 90 or day 180. But the numbers are big because very few deals are below 50,000 euros, all or higher. They could be in multiples of 100,000 euros if it's a company big enough. So it can be offered to HR departments, corporate teams, for talent acquisition. Can you imagine the cost of getting the wrong person in the job, especially in mid to senior levels? The cost runs into six figures. So we can show them that we can cut that cost down dramatically. We can cut down attrition. We can enhance performance at the outset. Why train somebody who's already in the job and not aligned when you can get the right person during recruitment who's perfectly aligned? It's a no-brainer, right? So talent acquisition, talent management, which is tuning people up, and succession planning and leadership development. So somebody quits, who's the best person already from the existing team or in another department who could be put in for the job. It's also very vital during evaluations, during annual appraisals. And that's another area which I've not listed here, by the way. If people are getting appraised, let's say in 2 3 months, you could go to them and say, look, let's do your assessment and let's see where we can improve things. Because, or even after the appraisal, if they've been found short in certain areas, you could work with them on tuning them up to be not make those mistakes again. So essentially, the liminal wheel helps organizations place the right people in the right roles, improving productivity and engagement at work. And when you pitch to a corporate using your connections, these are some of the benefits. Now, this obviously is in very brief, in a very short slide, but we have like much more data to give you at the right time. This is obviously just an overview. So, in a way, this is a bit of a repeat. The coaches can resell licenses to corporate connections or individual clients as additional revenue. But more importantly, it can be bundled into coaching programs or workshops. So you can offer it as a bonus, you can offer it as a value add because it gives so much more power to the workshop. You could do an assessment before and after, or you can do it before and take a follow up assessment 90 days later. There's so many options. Group coaching and workshops. So again, a spin on the earlier slide. It can be used for group coaching to help multiple clients at the same time identify needs, work on addressing gaps, adds value to team building, exercises, retreats, corporate workshops. Absolute no-brainer. And there are so many groups on LinkedIn, on Facebook, which are retreat oriented. People spend 4 and 5 figures going to retreats, but where is the actual tangible measurement? filling up a feedback form is not a tangible measurement because you feel good for maybe a week after the retreat, but after that, you don't. There is uh, a drop off, you fall off a cliff. But when you do assessment in this manner, it's completely different. You have a very uh, real, tangible, measurable feedback. Then recruitment consultants are a very, very big market and they exist all over the world. Headhunters, individuals who specialize in recruitment. There are so many people on LinkedIn with those titles and who have no awareness of our product. And there's no way we can reach out to those thousands and thousands and thousands of people across the world. Uh, in India, we spoke to a director in one of the biggest companies in India, and he was blown by the product. And if he could be blown, I can assure you, anyone across the world would have a similar opinion. So it's very useful for career transition, for job placement, career coaches. There are tons and tons of career coaches sitting around on LinkedIn. You all could consider yourself career coaches if you use the Limeneal Wheel. They can use the tool to guide clients through transitions. And today, there is no mid to senior executive in any company unless you're, Tim Cook or something like that, who can be totally sure that something won't happen to them tomorrow in their jobs because things are moving at such a pace. Companies are going bust all over the world. Uh, the whole environment has become much more difficult. And with technology, you don't know if you're going to be displaced or not. For example, the entire outsourcing in an industry in India, which was thriving 30 years ago, today is meaningless because AI can take all those low end jobs out, and it is taking them out. So what do all those people do? There are millions, right? I would say they should go do the assessment and then see which area they're best suited for. Is it entrepreneurship? Is it opening a tea stall? Is it going and finding another job? Is it reskilling themselves? Or is it just doing nothing and just hoping for the best? Only a scientific uh, option or a scientific decision can only be made by using a scientific product. Others, you're using gut feel. And then you keep job hopping, you keep jumping careers, you go and study medicine, then realize it's not for you and you want to become a musician. All that can be saved if you did this test at the right time when of course it wasn't available earlier, but if you did it, you'd get aligned much much more easily and earlier. And of course, online courses, membership programs. People have online courses. How do they measure? How do they show clients value? So, or before after a mastermind. Uh, so, as I said, if you looked at all these slides that have preceded these, there's almost no end to where you can offer this. The the clinching factor is how well can you put the concept across to the person you're talking to, because the product is super powerful, but the communication that you give has to be powerful because the entire universe of the planet is an open market for this right now because there's nothing like this. The Limeneal Wheel, as you'll soon see, is completely different from anything else available in the market today. So, yeah, as I said, the usage is really up to your imagination. So, the completely versatile tool. It brings a new dimension with new energies in a rapidly evolving world. So, if you adapt it to your needs and it has enough appeal, you can do anything you want. Maybe somebody coming in? Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to say in the first bit. Vivi, over to you now. Yeah.